I've measured the radiator up, and the radiator, oops, top of the core is here, and the bottom of the radiator is here, and the bottom of the core is here. And the fan actually comes down a little bit beyond. So this is roughly where the fan is based on the cutout on this. I just laid it on backwards. I might go out and see if I can get a better measure and draw on the fan, but I have a feeling that the fan will go down below the bottom of the core. I've got space, I can get down to here. That's a little bit clear on the above the, there's a plate at the bottom of the engine bay below the radiator that I've got to clear. So I'm thinking this was my first attempt at a cowling, all dirty because I never got it to a point where I was satisfied to worth cleaning. But when I did this, I had to bash this over the edge of this bench here to get a corner on it. Since then I bought that. So I've got more material, and I'm thinking that I'll remake this and get it tidier so that that's a cleaner line, and I mean it's not too bad, but it's not as good as it could be. And I had to cut, when I did this, I had to cut that slightly offset and bend this out a little bit, and I'm not quite sure why. But I guess there's no reason to think that the fan is actually exactly on the centre of the radiator. That's just an assumption based on don't know what. So, but now that was made, and that was necessary to get it to clear the old fan before I put a spacer on. So the fan has moved forward by probably 70 millimeters now, and so I'll have a rethink of this. I'll go back and check, because it might be that the fan comes past that edge of the radiator and I might have to put a little bulge on it, but I only had the top covered previously. And I'm not sure, it looked like it must have been doing something, because when I did the smoke test just then without the cowling on, it didn't seem to be anywhere nearly as effective. So I'm not sure, but I will see if I can make a two-piece cowling so that I can enclose the whole thing and make sure all the air that's coming in is coming through the radiator and not from underneath. And we'll see if we can. I checked and the temperature did get up a little. I think it warmed up more quicker than when I had the cowling on. So I'll now go and have a look and check to see where that fan sits in relation to the radiator, and I'll draw the fan position onto the cardboard. So now I have a template, and I have here my cardboard mock-up of that, and I'll use that again, I guess, or maybe I'll cut another one because it's all a bit bent in the wrong place, and I've got some more cardboard down here. And I'll see what I can do to get a complete cowling. Well, if we look on this side, there's maybe 15 millimeters clearance on this side, and we go around to the other side, and it is pretty well lined up with the edge of the core. It's hard to see, but it actually does line up. The camera, yeah. So we can see there, that's pretty well lined up. And on the other side, got to get the camera lined up properly. It's actually about 15 millimetres in. It's hard to tell with this, but it is. It's about 15 mil in. So that makes sense of what I see on the cover. So I'll have to take that into account when I'm making up the new one. I've now marked out, so that's where the radiator hose comes into the radiator. And this line here, as I said before, is the bottom of the radiator. The fan is the heavy line with all the arrows on it. That is the top of the core. And the current cover actually comes to pretty well on the halfway mark, so I got that pretty well right. And the cover is sitting out 100 millimetres off the sitting back 100 millimetres deep. So I'm looking at this, and if I come back 110 mil here and here and put a 45 on there and then follow that shape, that should be right. And I'm going to have to be careful here. I might have to make a little deviation out on this here to have the fan miss that. I think it pretty well lines up with that edge of the radiator. So I may have to give it a little diversion out up here. And yeah. So this is easier to work on than trying to measure it all up in the engine bay. So I'll see where I go from here. So this is the first run in cardboard. So that corner there takes care of the radiator hose, and I've got this drawn with the fan. It's pretty well touching the side here. I'm deciding whether I'll puzzle that out beforehand or make up this little piece out here, fold this out maybe a centimetre up here somewhere, 50, and then run it along, or maybe one centimetre out, and then have a piece that just dog legs across, out, back and in to take care of that close clearance here with the fan. But that looks like it's in the right sort of territory. I've drawn in the fan there. I'm holding off. That's offset. If we go centre line of the cowling, that's offset the wrong way because that's reversed. But that is looking like it's in the right territory. So I'm nearly ready to start thinking about cutting some aluminium, and I am inclined to remake that. I've got enough material to do it, and I should be able to make a tidier job of it with this folding machine than what I did on this one. So let's see how we go. It's a new day, and I'm sitting here looking at this and pondering exactly the best way to make it, because I've got to make sure that I can bend things in the right directions. And I'm starting to think that I need to work out how to do this video thing better. I watched the videos and saw how shaky they've been. I'm thinking I might make this part and then add on tabs that just come out here and fold them, and then make this part as a single piece, and then rivet the two together, because I can't see how I can bend this in this as a single piece. Each way I look at it, I can see that something's going to get in the road when I try to bend it. So I might even remake or recut this in cardboard and try and fold it in the machine and see if I can come up with a way of doing it that doesn't involve riveting the whole thing together. There's going to need to be some rivets regardless of what I do, because this has got to be the way I've designed this. That's got an overlap here and an overlap here, and there have to be rivets in the corner here. So I guess it's a matter of where the rivets are. That's going to be down sitting like that at the bottom of the engine, and if I do it, I can have no rivets in the front here. I would have rivets in the side there, but I've got to have rivets either along here or along here. Sorry, I've got to have rivets either along here if I do it as I've done it here, or rivets up here if I rivet that in. So actually, I think I might do it that way. The old adage, measure twice, cut once. I cut that corner. This had come up fairly well, although I forgot to allow for the thickness of the material when I was bending it, so marked it out, cut that corner off, and it's the wrong corner. And I can't see that bending that out and switching it around the other way is going to work. It'll probably break off. So I get to do it all again. After a second attempt, I got this all together with the cutout on the correct side, and it measures up quite well. Kudos to all those sheet metal workers though, because trying to get these joins to sit right, and since you can see them even though it's under in the engine bay, I don't want great deviations and lumps coming out here and so forth. Yes, it's not as straightforward as drawing a couple of lines and bending, but my little finger brake is showing itself to be quite reasonable. I mean, this job is probably about as big as you could get on it. It's 1.8mm aluminium, and doing this bend along here, you could feel that there was a bit of force required on the handles, but it wasn't bad. It didn't creak or groan. And I used the fact that this is a finger brake, you can remove these fingers, and if you're bending inside, so for example when I was bending here, there's a lip inside and you have to avoid hitting those, so when you fold it up you need to have them fold up out inside of into a gap, and so actually this worked quite nicely for that. And you can see that it's a reasonably tidy fit. I realised afterwards that I'd left this blue plastic on to protect it, which I don't mind, but I think I'll have to go around the edge with a knife to get that to peel out neatly, because there's plastic trapped inside of this gap here. But the height, I think that this one's less accurate than that one, because I cut that fairly neatly at 100. I will have a look at what this looks like and decide whether I make this end again or not, because it's actually quite a big job. I could do it neater, as you can see. This is definitely a neater job than this, but at the end of the day, this is not a show car. It's not a rat rod, but it's not a show car either. And I've got a list of jobs a mile long to do on the car, and I'm wondering whether making that top cowling again should be at the top of that list. I'm thinking that I might make a step out over here, just cut inside of there, or even on the other side of that if I need to, and put another rivet in, and here, and step that out so it'll clear the fan, because in theory that should just touch it. So I'll do what has to be done. But second time a charm. First time, I'm unfortunate that I cut that off. But actually, it is unfortunate, but this is definitely Mark II. I learned a few lessons on Mark I, so it's a better looking end product. Okay, here is the final product, I hope. I had to make a choice about this. That is 100mm here, and that is actually bent above 100. So I figured I'd stick with this because it's correct, and if I remake this, that'll tidy that up. But we'll see how bad it is. And now I can try and put it in. Installed this. You can't really see it well, but that fan is just touching. It is actually just touching there, and it's really literally half a millimetre or something. So I'm going to have to take the whole thing out, and I'll just catching on that lip. It's just catching on that lip on the other side. So I'll widen that gap and make a new little panel for the side. We've got that panel there. I'll widen this maybe 20mm or something, and take it from there. Another thing I'm going to modify is this. This has just got a nut behind it at the moment. It's just a hole there. There's another one down low down there in the side of the radiator. That's how I've mounted it, and I was going to put one down there, but it's almost impossible to get a screw in down there, and certainly to hold on to the nut. So I think I will make a clamp setup that just clamps onto the side of this, and maybe still have locating pins here that just locate into the hole so that the whole thing is oriented correctly. But I certainly need something better than what I've got. It's almost impossible to get this on and off. Okay, put it at the bottom, at the top. Yeah, that's coming straight through now. Alright, stop it. Compared to yesterday, or the other day,